Welcome. This is my first video on Unreal Engine. So I will be talking about how you can set up a simple health system. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a really quick preview of what we're going to be making. So as you can see, you have your health bar and you have the actual amount of health you have. And if you press 5 on the keyboard, as you can see, my health is going down and it's updating. And you can press 6 to add health to your character. This is a little preview, but you can change it however you want. You can use any item or anything that you want to give you health or to reduce health. That's depending on you. We're just going to create in that functionality so you can use in different projects or different enemies. The first thing we're going to do is create our health system. So for this, you're going to go into our blueprint and into the actor components you see here, and near the health system. So this component we can attach to any different actor we want in our level. Like for example, we can attach it to this blue box here, and it has a health. So we can do this for any different characters or different objects in our scene. So if you double click on it, it opens this. So what we want to do first is to define the variables we need, which are our current health, and we want this as a float and not an integer, and you find out why soon enough. And then we want another variable for the maximum health, and want this also as a float. And then if you go back to a character blueprint, where you can just add in the health component, health system, and then here on the details panel, you can see you have your current health and your max health. So you can set these values to whatever you want, but just make sure that your current health never goes above your maximum health, because if that happens, you're gonna mess up with the code that we're gonna be writing out later on. But I've set your current and max health to, I say 200. Then we'll go back into our health system. So now we need some functions for removing, for adding health, and for just getting the health and value. So first we're gonna get health. And the reason I call this up, what we get health from. Get health wall is because we just want the actual value here, whatever it is, and we just want to pass that into an output, which is going to be value. It's spelled correctly. And it's going to be a float, and I'm just going to plug this in, and it's just going to get the actual health value of our player or of any object in the world. And then we want to do something else. Let's get health ratio. Okay. And the reason we're getting this as a ratio is because in our widget, we're using the progress bar, and it has a 0 to a 1. So it takes the value that you input and translate it as a 0 to 1, to a 0 being empty and 1 being full. So we want to get our health as a ratio. So we won't translate that into our widget. It translates properly. So now all we need to do is just to divide both current health and max health, and this is going to output a value of 0 to 1, and just want to store that in an output. Also, value. This is all done, and then we can add in our take damage or remove health. Some more shit in. So remove health and what? We need an input for the amount of health we want to remove. And this is going to be a float also. And going to do the amount, our current health minus the amount we want to remove. And then set our current health back to the value that's been outputted from this. That's it for the meantime. And then our add health is just literally the same thing, just instead of subtracting, we're adding. So we just duplicate this and call it add health. And do plus. So add that value into this. But I just want to make a quick note. What you also want to do is clamp this value, clamp float between the minimum and maximum. The minimum health you can have in a game is actually 0, so we're gonna leave the minimum as this, and the maximum is gonna be your max health. So whatever value is this, it doesn't go below 0 and it doesn't go above your maximum health. Set that into health value. So we can just take this, copy, and paste it in the remove health function. It should be alright. Let's clean this up a little bit. Yeah, that should be it. We're gonna come back to these two functions later on, just to add a little bit more onto them. But as for now, I'm doing alright. So what we're going to do next is create our widget that we're going to use. So just right click a user interface, a widget blueprint, create a user widget. Call this health. Health widget. That's it. And then all we need is a size box. Provide the width and height. Our desired size, so I can see how big it's actually going to be. And then I'm going to do 500, maybe 700, and here's going to be 60. After adding that, we're going to add in a horizontal box, and then add in another size box, and then a progress bar inside the size box, and then a text inside the horizontal box. So what we're doing here is using this size box to determine the size of our progress bar inside of the horizontal box. So right now, if I put in 500, it's this one, and then we have the actual value of our health at the side, just for visual. Just put this as 550. Then subshadow, offset it a little bit, 2, increase the size box. Now this is going to be the health progress. So now, like I was saying, the percentage here is from 0 to 1, which is why we needed our health value as a ratio to increase this value here. So you can tell a 0 being empty and one being full. So that's why we needed our health as a ratio. You can also change the bar fill type from left to right and whatever you want. I'm just gonna leave it like this. And now you can tweak the color as much as you want. Just gonna go for something greenish, so. And I'm gonna go down to the background color, and I'm gonna reduce this so I can see better. And then in this text box, I'm just gonna rename it to value and make it a variable. Make sure these are all variables, both of these, because we're gonna be changing them later on. I'll value and set this to whatever you want. Doesn't really matter because we're gonna be changing that to code. Right. You can go back in here, delete all of this, and make a custom event. You can do a custom event or a function, whichever way is better. But I'm just gonna do a function and call this set. So the way we're doing this is more optimized, and I really like the way we're doing this. But some people will do it as a binding. So you just create a binding here, and you set this value here, like the text, to whatever your current health is. So we just put that. And the thing is that every second, every frame, this binding, this event here runs. So it's not really optimized if your health value is not really changing. So you just keep setting it. So I would say do it this way because it's more optimized and you don't have to waste any performance. So we're gonna set the health to the raw, value. It's gonna be a float and health ratio. Fuck this out correctly. And then here is where we start making it work. So we're getting the text and do set text, this one, and we plug this in here, and we take the raw value and plug this in. Just make it a little pretty a little bit. And then the health progress, we do percent. And the percentage is going to be the ratio, which is this. And that's all you need. Now some people will do this and this value here, because if we didn't clamp this value and when we added in the health and stuff like that, it might go above a certain number or above the max health, and we're gonna have to go in here and clamp this value and do all this stuff, and just to make sure that the value doesn't go above max health. So you might have to check if the health is over the max health. If it is, print out 0 or 1 or whatever you want. But since we already clamped the value here, we don't need to do all those other checks. So we just need to set the value here. So now all we have to do is go back into our and create a new widget, and this is going to be your HUD, so where everything lies. I'm gonna call this Player Hud. If you already have one, that's great. You can use that. Just get your health widget onto your Player Hud. So first I need the canvas panel, and then just searching your health widget. So you can see health widget is the same name I have out here. So just drag that down here and size the content. So you can see it's really big. So I might have to reduce the size a little bit here. Go into the size box. Let's say 40. Should be better. Yeah, that's it. So, and get the anchor down to the bottom right. And just put 3.2 minus 0.2 actually. And then 0. So that's it. Yeah. So the way we're going to be calling this function is we're going to create this HUD, and then from this HUD we're going to get this variable here, which is the health widget here. We're going to get that, and from this we're going to call set health value. So this is how we're going to do it, but we're not going to do it in here. Just going to go in here into our player, and then on invert begin play you can create widget, and the widget we want to create is our Player HUD. I want to store that in a variable called HUD. You can from here get the health widget. I'm not going to do that because I don't really need it at the moment. So what I'm going to do now, after getting this, I set this value. But one thing that I want to make sure you understand is that sometimes you might get an error, maybe because you've already created this variable or this blueprint and you're creating it again. So what you want to do to get that is take this value here and check if it's valid. And if it is valid, I'm going to do something else, which I'm going to do in a moment. Or if it's not valid, that's when we create this widget. So if this has not been set, then we create it and then set it. But if it has been created, all we need to do is just add it to the viewport, which is where the next part comes in. Just take this, add to viewport. Oh. Viewport, yeah, that's it. And then set this here and also here. That's all we're doing. We're adding to the viewport. But let's test it out, see what happens. So right now we're adding it, but as you can see, the values are incorrect. As you can see, and our health we actually set that to 200. So we want that to actually display. So what we're gonna do here now is using this HUD, we're gonna get the health widget, and we're gonna call set health value. So we're gonna do this, and then what do we want to set the health value to? So we're gonna grab in our health system, which has all our health value and all the functions we created, and just call these functions here: get health raw and get health ratio. So get health raw, that's the raw value we want to input here, and get health ratio. That's the ratio I want to put in here. And here, not convert to pretty fast. Alright, we can just do this. And just clean up your code a little bit. And now if we do test it out, as you can see our health is 200 and our health is 2. So we can move around. But the problem is that right now we can't even see the health in action. We can't see the values change dynamically by anything. So we're gonna just use a button input 5 or 6 or whatever you want to make the health go down, make the health go up. So let's do that right now. So we have to do is on button press 5. Just get the health system again, and then calling add. Remove. How much health do we want to remove? We want to remove 20, just for testing purposes. Now let's test it out and see. But it's not working. And that's because after removing the health, we're not actually setting the values back to what they should be on the screen. So what we're going to do is go back into our health system. As I said, we're going to come back to these functions. So here, we're going to get an input, which is going to be our HUD. So just going to go in here and tap in HUD. We're going to give it a Player HUD. So from this Player HUD, we're going to get health widget, and then we're going to set that value. So now all we need to do is get the raw and the ratio value, which are all here. Just drag and drop them here and plug them in. The raw and the ratio, that's it. The raw and the ratio. And then we can do the exact same thing for the add-in health function. Just plug that in again, copy and paste, and then put this in here. Okay. Test this out. Pressing 5, 6, still not working. And that's because we're not giving it the HUD value. So just go back in here. And when that function is being called here, to add and remove, we just give it the HUD here. So just drag this in, and that should do it. 5 knows out, as you can see, and it's actually displaying on screen. And as you can see, 6 adds. So the value never goes above the maximum and it never goes below the minimum. So that's just a simple way of making a health system. So I hope you liked the video, and if you do, make sure to give a thumbs up. I'll catch you